Soon the spring is coming. Words are miraculous. We are going to be speaking even about Dr. Freud today. Word's gender depends on the ending of the word or on its meaning. If a word doesn't have either, it's primarily masculine. Words that end in a and e are feminine, in o neutral. This video is about the ending l. If a word ends in l, it's going to be primarily masculine. There are only 13 real exceptions out of this rule. The ending ol gives us neuter words. The unreal masculine exceptions are either beverages or substantivized verbs or anger emotions or belong to head-like vegetables. Der Pol is masculine, as are all of the oceans. Thus, we cannot count these words to real exceptions, because if you see one of these words and you know that such word groups exist, if you don't, welcome to my YouTube channel. You cannot think that these words could possibly be neuter or feminine. The ending ull gives us masculine words. Die Null, as one of the numbers, can be only feminine. Das Kalkül is an abstract word that has to be distinguished from the word der Kalkül, and this goal is achieved by giving this word a different gender. Das Idyll is a substantivized adjective. Das Graul is neuter, as are all the styles. Das Maul is a collective term. That's why, as I explained before, all these words belong to not real exceptions. The ending al is neuter. If you hear a word full of suffering that ends in zal, it's always feminine, as are all the power words. The not real masculine exceptions belong to the following groups: codes, professions, mouthwords, animals, the Freudian cups, which are primarily masculine. All the other words that end in al are neuter. The endings aal and all give us masculine words. Die Zahl is a math word, which are all feminine. Die Wahl can be remembered with the help of a proverb, die Qual der Wahl. Die Qual is also a power word. Das Kristall is a material that things can be made of, which are all neuter. Das Metall, das Mal belong to collective terms, which are all neuter. Das Al is a substantivized pronoun, which are all neuter. Das Intervall is a borrowed word, that are primarily neuter. The word das Gap is also neuter. The ending Teil gives us masculine words if we speak about a part of something, and neuter words if it's a name of a concrete detail of something, or if we mean something abstract. The words with the ending el are neuter. Die Mail is feminine, as are die Post and the like. Die Bill belongs to math words. Die Unbill is, that's why, of course, also feminine. The masculine words that end in el are either substantivized verbs or animals or beverages or a breed of a dog, or they belong to the masculine gender from the point of view of Dr. Freud. Der Still or der Still can be only masculine, so that we don't mix it up with the word das Stillen and the like. The endings zell and htel give us feminine words. Das Einzel is a type of a word, das Spiel, which is neuter, as are all the names of games. Das Kürzel is a type of a sign, which are all neuter. Such words as das Techtelmechtel are always neuter. The endings ell and ehl are neuter. The not real exceptions belong to the following groups: the substantivized verbs, fabrics. Der Grell can be only masculine. Were it neuter, we would think that it has something to do with the adjective grell, and it doesn't. Das Karamell is a result of a sugar, der Zucker. The suffixes zell and zell give us always only neuter words, without exceptions. The words with the ending tel are neuter. Die Fistel and die Pustel I count to bubble blister words, which are primarily feminine. Die Distel is a plant, and that's why it's feminine. So these words are not real exceptions. I'll try to tell you about the ending el now. Here counts the same rule as everywhere. If el is a suffix, it's 100% masculine. If it's an ending, it's still primarily masculine, but it can be feminine or neuter. The real feminine exceptions are die Vokabel. All these words belong to word form group. If you see a word that ends in el in this group, and the word means problems or unpleasant feelings, it's going to be feminine, as usually. For example, it's always hard to learn words from other languages, die Vokabel, so die Vokabel is feminine. or the word reservation, die Klausel, has two meanings which are both not very pleasant. Empty phrases, die Floskeln, are not very pleasant either. So all these words are going to be feminine. There is one more feminine word in this group that ends in el. This word never changes, die Partikel. It's also feminine. But if there are no unpleasant feelings connected to the word and it ends in el, it's going to be masculine. I mean the word der Titel. There are 5 birds that end in L. Der Pirol is masculine. Die Nachtigall, die Wachtel, die Drossel, die Amsel are feminine. Die Graupel is the only feminine exception from the weather phenomena, which are otherwise always masculine. Not real exceptions. Die Bartel, die Geißel, die Angel, die Bummel. I recommend learning all of these words as a decoration group where all of the words are feminine. Die Schaukel, die Wiege, die Windel are feminine, which sounds very logical. Das Partikel can be only neuter because it's a part of an atom. Das Pendel can be only neuter because it's a measuring instrument. Die Kugel, die Gabel, die Nadel, die Sichel, die Spindel belong to power words that are all feminine. Die Tafel is a means of information transfer and it can be therefore only feminine. Die Fabel, die Bibel belong to the story words that are all feminine. Glands are primarily feminine. There are 5 musical instruments that end in el. Der Furzhobel is masculine because it comes from the word der Hobel, which is also masculine. Die Schwägel, die Orgel, die Trommel, die Fiedel are feminine, as are the overwhelming majority of musical instruments. Bubble words are primarily feminine. Bell-like words are always feminine. Knots that end in el are feminine. Products that end in el are primarily feminine. Die Nessel is a plant and that's why it is feminine. Die Fessel belongs to chain words, which are all feminine. If we draw a conclusion out of this information, if a word ends in el, it's going to be primarily masculine. There are only 13 real exceptions out of this rule. If you have liked this video, please like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, write your comments below, and I wish you lots of success in learning German. Tschüss!